Stand Up for Grain Safety presents Ladder Safety.
Good afternoon. We're here today to talk about ladder safety. A couple ladders we're going to talk about are self-supporting ladders or A-frame ladders that we'll talk about, and then also extension ladders or single ladders. So to start out with, general conditions before we start climbing or planning our climb is we need to look for hazards that would be in our work environment. Could be environmental hazards such as slippery conditions, ice conditions, high winds, things that would cause us to not stay on the ladder the way we intend it to. Other things I need to do is make an assessment of myself. Am I feeling good today? Do I have any dizziness? Is there anything that would prohibit me from being able to raise elevation and be on a ladder? So once those things have been assessed and we have made an assessment of our work environment, then we're going to pick the right ladder for what we need. One of the common things that we need to look at is many of the ladders are going to have labels on them that will tell you what the capacity is and what the intended use of the ladder is. We definitely want to make sure that we are following the manufacturer's instructions, the OSHA guidelines, our company policies to make sure that we're using the ladders appropriately. So once we decide that the ladder is going to be fit for the service that we need, it's going to be of adequate capacity, such as this one here, load capacity of 225 pounds. That capacity is clearly marked here from the manufacturer. It tells me that it's got a 4-foot ladder. We'll be able to set this ladder up. For all ladders, whether it's an extension ladder or a single ladder or a self-supporting or A-frame ladder, we want it to be on a stable and secure surface. We don't want the ladder to slip or displace when we're climbing to elevation. So on a self-supporting ladder, we want to make sure that we have the locking arms locked down. It's not to be used leaned up against a surface or leaned up against a wall or a bin in an area that it's not fully extended out. And again, to make sure that the locking arms are locked in and the ladder is stable. This ladder, for our purposes of this video, has been spliced and repaired. The manufacturer will usually give you instruction on that, but if a ladder becomes damaged, it needs to be removed from service or repaired in accordance with the manufacturer's instruction to make sure it is, again, of stability and capacity to be able to hold you at elevation. So with this ladder, we're going to make sure that we're always facing the ladder. When we ascend or descend up the ladder, we're going to use 3 points of contact as we climb. If we need to bring anything up, we're not going to carry it with us for materials that could cause us to lose our balance and fall off of the ladder. On a ladder such as this label is worn, and again, for our purposes here, we wanted to show you that. But this says danger, not for a step. It's for balance, and this is the top cap. Neither one of these are to be used as a step. Your highest level will be at this height here, and this ladder here does a good job for us of showing that and telling us that we don't stand or not above this level. So we don't stand on it or go above it, nor the top cap. The top cap is to keep materials for us to hold our tools, lock washers, whatever we're using. And then again, we're looking at the labels that come from the manufacturer based on the standards that they're built to. We want to make sure that these are legible and that they're in good condition. If not, you can contact the manufacturer and you can get replacement labels. So there's different labels that should be present to tell you not only capacity, but how it's used, to give you some warnings. And again, this one that tells you it's a 6-foot ladder, and it'll give you 225 pounds capacity. Again, my person, tools and equipment that might go up with me, we need to make sure we adhere to that. So again, stable and secure, fully locked in place, making sure we're not using the top step or the top cap as elevation. We cannot use it folded up and pushed against a wall or a surface and climb it that way. That's not what it's designed for, and we need to make sure we use it in accordance with the manufacturer's instruction. And that pretty well rounds out some of the highlights on portable ladders or on the self-supporting ladders. From there, you can get a lot of information from the manufacturer, from the Ladder Institute, from OSHA in their new walking working surfaces Subpart. They've got a lot of great materials. A lot of other folks will help you as well. So now we go to extension ladders or single ladders. This we've got set up as a single ladder. It can be in an extension ladder, which would be another ladder that passes along with this. Again, another device that we can use to gain elevation to a higher level or to work from. These typically will get us to a higher level. The way I've got this one set up here is it's leaned up against. So say I was going to get to an elevated area there. This ladder here has been damaged. It's got some deviations in the rungs. It's got some bends to it. It's not in good shape. But again, similar to the self-supporting ladders, first thing I needed to look for is hazards. Is there electrical hazards that I could contact as I set my ladder up? Am I able to set this ladder to where it's stable and secure? Is there any slipping hazards or ice, mud, loose material buildup, grain that could cause the ladder to slip? I want these feet fully engaged. I want it on a level surface that will allow the ladder to remain stable when I put my body weight on it. Another important thing is the ladder should be at about a 75.5 degree angle or a 4-to-1 ratio. The easiest way to do that is if my feet touch the bottom and I can touch the side rails. That's the angle that I'm looking for. Obviously too steep, I could fall backwards. If it's too flat, I could slide down the surface. When I couple this up against the surface I'm going to set it against, I want to bear on both side rails. I can't set it up like this where I put it against one rung. That doesn't have the capacity to hold the ladder for its intended use and capacity, which again, I am finding out from the label that's there from the manufacturer, ensuring that it's legible. So I would not be able to use this ladder to gain elevation or gain access to that surface because I don't have an elevation that will hold both rungs at this time. If you are going to use this ladder to gain access to another level, it needs to be 3 feet past the landing surface, so it gives me an area to traverse on and off the ladder onto the landing surface. And so that's important with extension or single ladders if you're using them to gain elevation that they extend 3 feet past. Again, we're going to ascend and descend while we are facing the ladder, always using 3 points of contact, 2 hands and a foot, or 2 feet and 1 hand. We're not going to carry anything that causes us to be displaced. If we need to get materials up there, we'll hoist them up with a bucket or maybe a helper, or we'll stage materials that we need. And we got to make sure that we stay within the confines of the rails. We're not going to lean out. We can't do tasks outside of the rails of the ladder. This is to go up and down. Another thing that we commonly see is folks will take portions of ladders that were damaged and cut those off. As you can see, this one's had some pretty significant damage. This has got a lot of issues from structural issues. We don't know what the capacity is, and also it doesn't have a good coupling mechanism to where it matches the surface of the ground to where we can make it stable and secure. So homemade ladders, you got to be very careful with that. Again, there are some job-made ladders and some construction standards, and the OSHA standards tell you how to build wood ones. But for what we need, we're going to look for the manufacturer to tell us what the capacity is, how to use it, and how to go about maintaining these ladders.
For more information on Stand Up for Grain Safety, visit www.standupevents.org.